And we are following breaking news here on HQ. Mike Leach has a new job. After 8 seasons at Washington State, he is moving over, as you see there, to Mississippi State. They fired Joe Moorhead last Friday. Mississippi State finished 6-6 this season. Initially, they were going to keep Moorhead on, but after they lost in the Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl, they decided to go ahead and fire him. You see Leach's profile there, 55 and 47 in 8 seasons there at Washington State. Kind of an offensive mastermind. So we're going to see what he can do at Mississippi State. So for more on that, let's bring in our Chip Patterson to talk about this. Chip, I think the word you're using to describe this is fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I think that Mississippi State gets a proven commodity. I mean, we know what Mike Leach is on the field. He's going to give you some good competition at the Power 5 level, having done it in the Big 12 and the Pac-12. He's going to have one of the more prolific offenses in the entire country, as he's done pretty much every single year at Washington State. But we're also talking about a coach that's at times been a little uninspiring. We're also talking about a coach that is not afraid to point the finger at his team and call them fat and stupid. And so you're getting Mike Leach the winner, but you're also getting Mike Leach the character. And in a way, you can market that. You know, you can take his funny press conference quotes and use it as a way to highlight his personality. But I'm curious to see what Mike Leach the recruiter looks like, because at Mississippi State in the SEC West, you are going to have to recruit a little bit more than you had to out in the Pac-12, or at least the recruiting battleground is much more intense. So this is a great opportunity for Mike Leach. He can take Mississippi State and be the kind of team that wins 9 or 10 games a year, you know, puts a scare into Alabama and LSU. I understand what you're doing there, but if I'm Mississippi State, I'm also looking at this and saying, didn't I just get a more experienced Joe Moorhead?
So let me ask you this, for Mike Leach personally, why make that jump?
I think that he's been looking to make this jump. If you remember, he was nearly hired by Tennessee before the athletic director was removed. Phil Fulmer took over and went to go hire Jeremy Pruitt. So this is something that is not a big surprise. I think even Washington State fans were left with the fact that they might be losing Mike Leach to the SEC at some point, or that Mike Leach had interest in being an SEC head coach. So that's not a big shock. I will say the timing is a little bit of a surprise, Amanda, because this year, the Washington State team, it was a big step back from that top 15 finish a year ago. I think we saw, as Washington State competed for a Pac-12 title, you know, we're in the top 10 of the college football playoff rankings. That was about peak Mike Leach, and there was a big drop off this year, even losing in the bowl game to Air Force. So interesting timing. I wouldn't say Leach's stock is real high right now, but you know, he's going to have a great opportunity ahead now in the SEC at Mississippi State.
So just from kind of hearing what you're saying, I mean, you kind of feel like Mike Leach is just here. You know, he's just kind of here right now. He's just kind of going along. So what would you like to see from him? I mean, do you want this to kind of be like a wake-up call? Hey, Mike Leach, get energized. Let's see what you can do here at Mississippi State.
I don't know if you've read any of Mike Leach's literature, but he's himself, right? No way am I going to be able to tell him what he's going to do. He's not bringing anything new or novel with air raid principles and bringing them to the SEC. I mean, this is something we've seen the SEC lean more on, you know, more Big 12 offenses. I mean, that's what Tua did with Alabama this year. So I don't know if he has the schematic advantage. But, you know, Washington State, everyone knows it's coming, and they were still putting up a top 5 passer every single year, whether it was Anthony Gordon or Gardner Minshew. I mean, we know that they're going to get out there and sling that rock, so it should be interesting.
Yeah, his press conference is always interesting. You know, whether it's Pirates or marriage advice, Mike Leach can provide all of that. Let's talk about what this means for Washington State. Where do they go from here?
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they try and tap somebody within the family or somebody with some connections. And the reason I think that is just because Pullman is so unique. And to be able to understand the Pullman community, the Washington State University community, to figure out the kind of character guys that you're going to be able to get to come up to Pullman. And that's why I think the first place I would go would be somebody who knows that area well, rather than trying to go with a real outside-the-box hire. But you know, Mike Leach was a little bit of an outside-the-box hire. He fit the personnel. So the first thing I'm looking at is people with Washington State connections or ties to the Pacific Northwest. And the next thing would be more of an offensive fit, somebody who would be able to utilize a roster that was built for the air raid and be able to keep things going.
All right, our Chip Patterson there. Thank you so much for joining us here on HQ. Again, we are following breaking news. Mike Leach, after 8 seasons at Washington State, he is now going to be the head coach at Mississippi State, making that jump there across the country here. We are going to continue to follow this breaking news. We have our Barrett Salih coming up next.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.